My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and we just feel like doing something, really.
Indeed we do, because there's no bake-off to do.
Are you sure about that?
Well, we can talk about whatever we like.
We can talk about whatever we like, and we can talk to whomever we like to talk with. Hey, Leah, how you going?
Yeah, good.
It's good to have you back on the show. Obviously this time, after the show's finished. So
yeah, and that was like over 2 weeks ago. So
Don't
let's see how much I remember.
Don't remind me that it was 2 weeks ago, because I still kind of don't feel like I'm ready to let it out of my heart.
Being a little lost, really. Like just
yeah, like Thursday nights hasn't had much on.
Just go down to the telly Thursday night and stare at it wistfully.
Yeah, like there's got to be something.
Yeah.
There's got to be more to this, and the's not.
No. I even tried that Bachelor in Paradise, because I was just confused. So confused.
You walked into it and you're like, oh.
No, what am I doing here? And then luckily 5 minutes later, I realised that there were other channels to
You realised there were streaming services.
Exactly.
You realised that iZombie was back.
Yes, I did. And Santa Clarita Diet.
I'm so behind on so many things, including iZombie.
Well, that's okay, because we're all ahead on Bake Off, so this is how it works.
Yeah.
So first of all, we haven't spoken to you obviously since the grand final. So what was your take on the grand final itself?
Oh, I really loved it. I thought I picked probably about week 4 or 5. I decided that I thought Claudia would win.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And I told Robert that when I was in Perth.
Oh,
but I don't think I shared it with anyone else. And he was he didn't say anything.
And Robert is a man of mystery who you can get nothing out of.
Poker face.
Absolutely.
Who was probably on the inside going, God, what gave it away?
Probably. I was like, you did very well. I'll say what he said to me, actually.
Yeah.
But I asked him.
I also talk a lot about RuPaul's Drag Race.
Well, as you should. I mean,
I'd love to see RuPaul's Bake Off. Now it's time to for your life.
Oh no, he didn't say anything about his poker face.
You can't beat it. You can't beat it though. Apparently,
no.
No, he's got a great poker face, and he's got a really just strong ability to say absolute. As we've already told people, well, I knew what the ending was, and he wasn't saying anything, and I'm like, I know. And he was nah, not telling you. Damn you. So he's very good.
Yeah. So did you meet him that day of the finale?
No,
he was standing in front of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And they positioned him there. I'm like, who's this prick? They've just thrown him in front, and he's really tall. Who's going to see?
No, we've lamented a few times together about the fact that we didn't actually meet each other that day. It was only not long after that he sort of started listening to the podcast. But this is really cool. And he's like, damn, I wish we'd actually talked on the day.
Oh,
yeah.
So, which would have been awesome. But I think it was, in terms of the finales of Bake Off, British and Australian, it was one of the best I think I've seen in terms of the way they put it together.
And the story and how it unfolded, and just because we saw the judges deliberating a little bit more. So it was...
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, a bit more understanding of where their minds were at, and it wasn't just a bit of a shock, or you thought, maybe they just tossed a coin.
And I think that's a bit important too, because one of the things we've all talked about in this series is the only slight weakness that there was in the series was that it could be a bit difficult at times to work out how the final judgment happened.
Yeah.
Again, and we talked about the idea of, did the technical actually matter? Because a lot of the time it just didn't seem that the technical or even the signature remotely counted for anything. But in the grand final, I think they went to pains to show you that everything mattered.
Yes.
So I think that was sort of a benefit to it. But just even outside of the process, I thought visually it was one of the best put together shows I've seen in a while.
Oh, very pretty.
It was very pretty.
And when we were there, it was very pretty.
So it's doubly pretty.
Doubly pretty. I think as well is that... thanks, Leo. That's our dog, Leo, just saying hello. Oh God, I've lost my bloody dog.
You're
lost
blaming
my
the
train
dog.
of thought.
She's blaming the dog.
I'm
people.
blaming the dog.
She's out of practice. She's
Not the
blaming the dog.
one shot of Contro I had last night.
She's blaming the
Oh,
dog.
one shot of Contro will do it.
Yeah, exactly. I had one shot of Contro in lemonade.
Well,
And
how would you have coped in the season of Bake Off with that much booze, especially the rum barbers?
I'd be fucked, to be honest.
Still haven't found a place to eat rum barbers.
Well,
This is entirely due to the fact that I started a new job the day of the Bake Off finale.
Yeah, look, in all honesty, not good timing from you. Not good.
No, but that's what it's like when you're a temp.
Exactly. Well, one of the things that I'm actually looking at, one of the things I'm going to do in the near future, because I'm intrigued by the rum barber, and I've got a little bit of time coming up in the next few weeks. I'm going to attempt to make the damn
school
things.
teacher. We work really hard. I get like fucking 10 weeks or 12 weeks of holiday a year, and marks for most of it. Because is that all you get paid to do? Is to mark pieces of paper? Is that what happens?
I'm shaping young minds. And what I will be doing in the meantime is making rum barbers, because I'm intrigued by the rum barber. What was your favourite of the 3 challenges for the grand final?
Wait, what was the first one?
So it was the Battenberg. Look, I think everyone just rules the Battenberg out.
Yeah.
Really? I liked it.
Look, I liked it. I really wanted to eat all of them. Like, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
I can suggest that the Barb's treasure chest tasted really good.
Yeah.
We got to chow down on Barb's chest. Have a little nibble on her nuts.
Hey, Barb.
Yeah, no, everything looked very delicious. That was anything we got to nibble on.
Well done.
God.
Well done. But yeah, so you had the Battenberg cake, the rum barbers, and of course the showstopper was where you had to make your piece.
Yeah. I would probably say the rum barbers now that I think about it. Because I kind of have a thing against choux pastry. Like, I understand that it's very difficult to make, but like, I turned 21 around the time that MasterChef was like the biggest thing in the world.
Oh no!
So people weren't having cakes; they were having croquembouches. I want cake.
I was the hipster of croquembouche. I had a croquembouche, allegedly. Okay, so I turned 16, right? And Mum's like, "Oh, I'm going to get you a croquembouche from this," because this is like the mid-90s, mind you. She's like, from this woman who Catherine does gymnastics with. It's my sister who was like fucking in gym every 5 minutes. Anyway, so she brings it home. She goes, "I'm so disappointed. They hadn't made it." And they sent back seriously. And I was fucking happy as, because it looked like a cow pat, but it was essentially a big squash of chocolate mousse with profiteroles.
Well, see, because I had 2.
And I was happy with that.
And again, not for nothing, but my 21st birthday cake.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't really a croquembouche, but it was sort of was. It was the choux pastry layers down the bottom with like chocolate and cream, and then it was the tower of profiteroles.
Oh.
And that was a profiterole cake.
But you see, Mum didn't give up, because then the following time she got one. Finally got one. And I was really happy with that, because that's the first time I had like toffee on profiteroles.
But my quick follow-up to that is that, and unusually for me, I had a story. At my 21st with that cake,
isn't it?
At my 21st with that cake, I nearly died because my mother wanted me to pose for photos cutting the cake, and I'm an asthmatic, and she had sparklers all over it. And I'm cutting the cake, and I'm breathing in the sparklers, and I can feel my lungs like shrinking. And I couldn't breathe, and I'm trying to move to go and get my asthma medication. She's like, "Another photo, just another one, just another one." And there's a photo that every time I see it of me cutting the cake at my 21st, I know I couldn't breathe. And she literally went, "Okay, that's enough." And I threw the knife down and sort of staggered to the back door to go and grab my asthma. She went, "Where are you going?" I came back out, and I'm gone. I couldn't breathe. I was dying. And she went, "Oh, you could have told me." I went, "No, I couldn't. You wanted a photo." So my mother nearly killed me over what was basically a croquembouche. So
yeah, but she got a great picture, I hope.
Oh, it's a wonderful picture.
Yes,
I'm
it's
wearing a red
great.
toy cowboy hat.
One for the wedding slideshow.
It's one
Oh,
for the wedding
yeah.
slideshow, indeed. It may be the only photo in the wedding slideshow.
Slideshow.
Just the stock standard me dying slowly.
Yes, Chris is 21st and dying.
And death. But I think overall this year, I mean, I don't know, we'll find out what you think, obviously, but I thought the overall standard of Bake Off this year was outstanding.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And there weren't that many, as we've said the whole way along, and people are probably sick of hearing it, nobody went home on an absolute fuck up.
No.
No, it was brilliant. And the thing is, like, every year, and it's great about Australian Bake Off, is that every year you think, oh, wow, this is an amazing year and it's not going to get any better. And then, the next round of contestants come in and they're, like, even better than producing stuff that's even better than the year before. And then you're like, holy shit, that's it. And then this year it's like, boom, and again, like,
Oh, my, yeah.
going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And I think it's also because, like, season 2 was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I think we spoke, like, we were really worried that this one wouldn't be because we were so attached to season 2's bakers.
Oh, yeah.
But, Robert was on Twitter from week 1.
Yeah. Robert was on Twitter before week 1. And
Yeah.
I first sort of spoke to Robert because he'd listened to a few episodes of the podcast. And the next thing I'm getting messages from this Robert guy on Twitter about, love the episode, guys. And I'm like,
Who are you?
I'm pretty sure that's one of the bakers.
Let's follow him.
Let's follow him. But Robert was active, and they all started, as the series went on, they all became more and more active and engaging. And it's obviously, it's a difficult thing to, go from, I just want to go on this sort of thing to potter around and bake some really good stuff to, and now I need to work out how to do social media with a large audience.
Yeah.
It's daunting. It's not something you're thinking about when you sign up for the show.
No. Well, it is a Foxtel show, so it's not that large an audience.
Although having said that, we'll quickly go back to the rating again, because I mentioned this the other day. It rated bloody brilliantly, as it always does. But the grand final, and it's a bit of a, if you just look at where it finished on the night, you might go, it finished third. But it finished third with the highest rating that the show has got.
Yeah.
It's only third because there was an NRL grand final replay and an AFL game on Fox Footy. They were the only two things.
Fucking replay?
So no, it wasn't a replay. It wasn't a replay of the grand final in terms of rewatching it. It was the round 3 game where the two teams who played in the grand final previously played. So,
sorry, I thought it was a replay.
No. Replay in terms of it was the next season.
I get that.
Two teams playing again. So
look at me knowing
Thursday night football, NRL, Thursday night football, AFL are the only two things that beat a baking show.
Considering usually, subscribe to Fox simply
for the
sports,
football. And also to considering the fact that the Matthew John show thing that comes after the NRL, which usually rates really well, came fourth. It was beaten by Bake Off.
Yeah, take that, Matthew Johns.
So and again that 100
you in Silverchair.
And that 100.
That's not Ron Johns.
Ron Johns.
Still from Newcastle.
That 162 though, it got 162,000. And that was, I think, was 145 last year's grand final. So it's taken off.
Yeah, I was going to say it normally does top 5 Foxtel ratings.
Well, it didn't go below 3.
Yeah,
it did not come below third on any night, and it won its first 4 weeks.
The thing that I'm really sad about is that it is purely a Foxtel show at the moment. It's not going to free to air at all. And Australia is missing out on something that is absolutely magnificent. That, is the antithesis to all the other shit you get on the telly. It'd probably sit really well on the ABC or SBS. So it wouldn't rate really high, but it would still reach a broader audience as well if they could just show it after it's been shown on Foxtel. That's my 2 cents. Just say, who do we have to petition? Do we have to keep? Maybe what we should do is tag what's a facey.
She said no idea.
The Eurovision lady. Does the SBS
Eurovision lady?
Does the SBS Asian lady?
Leah Chin.
Chin.
Sorry, I just got distracted because I saw a tweet from Mel Bottle. Like, she retweeted something about a show. I was like, what? It's nearly finished, but no, there are 2 weeks left.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and by the way, get down and see Mel Buttle if you can. I'm disappointed that we can't, but get down and see Mel Buttle if you can. And Claire Hooper.
Yeah.
They're both doing shows, and they're both getting absolute rave reviews. So get down there. Go see them.
Maybe they'll come and do it in Sydney at some point. But I guess after this, they'll be up filming.
They'll be back up. They'll be back up for Bake Off.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for me, the idea of putting it onto a free-to-air, as a late run is good as long as the free-to-air network doesn't go, we like it and we'll run it, but we want you to make some adjustments.
Yeah, it needs to be on ABC or SBS.
Yeah. They can't touch it because we know what happened last time a network got hold of it.
I didn't even see that season.
Because
it was before I got into Bake Off.
Yeah. But it doesn't even count. It's not Bake Off. If you go back and watch it, it's not Bake Off. It's not the same ethos. It's not the same feeling. It just doesn't quite.
It had that angry baker lady on it, didn't it? The one who ends up in the States.
Yeah,
doing the cupcakes, like during the renovation.
The woman from Cupcake Renovation, whatever it is, that crazy, angry Australian woman who yells at everybody about their bakeries and then repaints them.
That lady.
Yeah, her.
I've never actually watched that show.
Look, if you've seen one clip of it anywhere, you've watched the whole lot of the show. It's very much like they got. I don't know if anyone remembers Susan Power, the Australian fitness stop the insanity woman who literally just yelled at America and got her own TV show off the back of that. It's a bit like that.
Nah.
Crazy Australian yells at Americans and everyone goes, that's wonderful. Let's put them on TV.
But then they did that other one. Sorry, going over to random reality. Remember the Tabitha Salon rescue one?
That was an Australian yelling at Americans too? What is it about Australians yelling at Americans?
She was less yelly and more bitch face. Like, I don't know if she has just a normal resting bitch face.
And this is why things like Bake Off don't get onto the mainstream. Because it's and I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who had never really watched a lot of Bake Off, but watched this series. And he said that one of the reasons why he watched this series was he said he was over the bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely.
The MKRs and just all of the contrived nature. And he's like, I just got so burnt out on the nastiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually think that it's something that MasterChef has actually taken on board as well.
They've become more...
They've moved away from, if you remember the early seasons of MasterChef Australia, where it was more...
You know what I think,
angry and aggressive.
But it wasn't, even then, it wasn't that angry and aggressive. Like, it was still less aggressive than most reality television.
Yeah, but they still did things like they got...
Don't you remember the Battle of the Sexes episode? I refuse.
Oh, that season when they tried to be NKR, I didn't watch.
Yeah.
And everyone
I actually didn't watch last year either.
And everyone went, no, let's not do that. Let's not be that series. But like, for example, when they had Matt Preston do the thing, like, that's disgusting, and throws the plate in the air and
that was...
goes, disgustingly good. And it's like, no, just be normal. Like, just be normal. And like last year and the year before, MasterChef made a discernible move away from what the MKRs of the world are and towards more like what a Bake Off is. Not there, obviously. It's still got the drama that they build up.
Yeah.
But like, and the cast seems to have taken it on board too. Like the people who go on seem to have, like we saw last year, for example, in MasterChef, people were helping each other a hell of a lot more than in other series.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I've sort of like had enough of MasterChef.
Fair enough.
Because it's on 5 days a week.
Yeah, wait till we start podcasting it 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at you being so joyous.
Like, I love podcasting. I don't know what it is. It's like I've done my extrovert bit, now I need a bit of introversion time, and then I'll come back better than ever.
We've got a few weeks though, so
like today I haven't said any like anecdotes. Like I feel like I'm failing the audience. I'm sorry, audience.
The audience is okay. So
we had Yum Cha today. It was good. See, it's shit.
Belching. Anyway,
back into my deep past and revive any. Let's talk about Bake Off.
Let's talk more about Bake Off. So do you have a week that you consider to be for you? What was the best week for you? Because it's interesting. It's an interesting. It's an interesting one.
I really just love sausage rolls.
I
think that's it.
I really just love. Okay, name of the episode. I really just love sausage rolls. That's done.
Yeah.
It's like So I think in my recap for that week, that section started with, when you're at a fancy party and they've got like oyster shots and you really just want a sausage roll. That has actually happened in my life. Because my parents have a friend and my sister actually got married on his property and it's lovely. But he has New Year's Eve parties every year. And so, but that happens is he has oyster shots and Mum's like, where are the fucking sausage rolls?
Yeah, come on. Don't fucking go with the oyster shots. Sausage rolls or nothing.
Both, if you're going to have your oyster shots, at least serve up some sausage rolls.
Oh, no, Mum's allergic to seafood, so it's a whole other thing.
Oh, you poor
Just
Mum.
if we're going back to the drinking game of people who can't eat things.
There we go. There we go. So, yeah, I think sausage rolls were awesome. I mean, they were real. They were genuinely awesome. I mean, there were a couple of ones where there were challenges that were great. Picking a whole week is hard.
A week is
Biscuit
difficult.
week because of all the fucking innuendo. It was
Biscuit week is generally one of my least favorites, just because I don't think biscuits are visually and interesting.
But then they did the biscuit jigsaw puzzle this year.
Yeah, I was like, jigsaw puzzle. Oh, great! It's not like do a gingerbread house. I love gingerbread.
Although last time, if you remember, last series of Australian Bake Off, one of the only times I look at it and go, yep, they made a misstep with that one. If you remember, they got them to make houses, but it wasn't gingerbread.
Oh, right. Yes, yes.
And so nothing stuck together and nothing held and all the houses fell down. So, in future, if you're making houses, it's gingerbread or nothing.
Yeah. But I think the other thing is, I always really like it when they do something savoury.
Yeah.
So, in Biscuit Week, there was they said you could do sweet or savoury. So I was really excited to see savoury biscotti, but then there wasn't any.
No, everyone did sweet ones. And of course, Biscuit Week contained that worst
dried fruit.
But also contained the worst of all bakes.
Oh, the jam drop.
The jam drop. I'm still staggered. We've spoken to, as everyone's heard, to the bakers from this series. I am still staggered. The jam drops were the Achilles heel for so many damn people.
Yes.
I've tried to compute it. The only thing I can come up with, and I've put this forward before, people thought it was too easy and thought they could just say, it's a jam drop. That's simple. And it turns out it's not that easy.
Yeah. I also after another thing is because I think like you, I sort of grew attached to Robert really quickly. So when he did well in Bread Week, but then there were quite a few weeks where it looked like he could have gone home. Yeah. So I was worried the entire time.
I can't concentrate. Robert might go home. Come back, Robert.
It's when I told my parents that I was going to go and meet him in Perth, my mum was like, oh, yeah. Mum's like, which one's he? I was like, he's the redhead one. She's like, oh, he's my favourite.
Yeah, and forget my mother, same thing. Oh, Robert, he's my favourite. Robert, the mum's favourite.
Yep. And Mum's like, can he move to Melbourne? I was like, yeah, him and his wife. What are you saying? Are you trying to set me up with him? But
maybe what we could do is in the Virgies this year or for the next season is have the mum's favourite.
And get Rob to present it.
Yes.
Yes.
So we're still recovering from the night of nights. So
yeah,
that's
what my issue is.
Oh, that was so much fun. Oh, okay. So I did that reading and everything,
which was wonderful again. And the crowd appreciated it. You heard them.
Wow.
And then so I've slowly been watching a series of unfortunate events, and then that bit was in the show. And they had a background, and there was an ice cream truck, and there was a kid cautiously looking at prune ice cream, and then there was an alligator who ate someone in the ice cream truck. It's such an absurd show.
Oh, that's perfect though. But with the favourite thing again, the funniest part was that family favourites I don't think was anyone's favourite.
No.
And again, my argument about family favourites was that I didn't think that anything they put in there was actually a family favourite. I thought the muffins was a bit meh. I thought that the chicken leek and mushroom pie, no. And the Pav, I mean, yeah, okay, fine, Australians make lots of pavlova, but I don't
And by
consider
make,
that.
we say we buy the base.
Yeah, everyone buys
Yeah,
the base.
But and that's the other thing is that like a tiered pavlova, like it's just
Nobody does
once
that.
again not that interesting.
You know what they should have done though for the pavlova
Mm.
challenge?
And it's also not very like structurally stable because so many
As
of
we
them
saw,
collapsed.
they all fell over.
They should have forced them to use a pavlova magic egg. That's what my mum had.
Well, I've put forward, and I've actually put this, I think I mentioned it to Chris, after Family Favourites Week. I would have liked to have seen one of them, maybe the technical, they give them a packet mix of something, and you have to make it something else.
No, that wouldn't be a technical. That would be a signature.
So, but no, I'd like to see them like, no, but the technical part of that bake then is, this is already basically set to be this. You now have to turn it into something else, right? Craft it into something difficult. Make it something, come up with rules on it. But I would like to see them have to turn a base packet mix into something completely over the top.
I think that's a television show in itself.
It is, but I think that it's probably more of a family favourite than the idea of like the mushroom,
absolutely
the chicken leek and mushroom pie, which by the way did contain verjuice, people. So if you didn't have a
Maggie beer,
have a drink. If you didn't have a drink to the drinking game, to the pie, retrospectively, go and have a shot. Because it did have verjuice in it. Go check the recipe.
My big disappointment was that Family Favourite Week where you introduced the drinking game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was the day I flew to Perth. So I did not get to participate at all, and I was basically drunk because I'd been on a plane for 6 hours.
Yeah, you were basically in the drinking game then.
You were, because it's about as accurate as what happened after the first challenge.
Because I'd written my recap early, and then I saw your drinking your cards. I was like, nah, none of that's in there. Like, people won't get very drunk. I wasn't watching for those things. Like, if I'd seen the cards beforehand.
I mean, it was a couple of weeks after that were the ones where the first challenge filled up a card. And it was a couple of weeks after that was British Week, wasn't it?
No, there was Free From.
Free From Week was Free From Week was the one where we got into Free From Week, and by the time they'd finished the fruit tarts, it was done.
See, I didn't know. I was retreating at that point, so
yeah, Free From Week was bad. It was really bad. Celebrations as well.
Just to give you an idea of how frequently I drink alcohol, I have 9 unopened bottles of cider in my wardrobe. Probably some of which have been there for at least 2 years.
What will this go with?
But did you ever try to bring Midori back through the airport in your bag?
Oh, dude. Marcus, hit me up. I love Midori.
You should talk. You should totally.
It's true. Like Midori's gone out of fashion, but quite frankly, it's up for a comeback.
Midori lemonade is like legit great cocktail.
It is. It's beautiful, and we need to bring back the Midori illusions served in a
You can still buy the illusion premix in the 4-packs.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can still be 19 if you want to.
Yes,
if you didn't really want to eat it.
Did you guys ever, because we had to do it illegally, we got half a case of Sub-Zero and we made and red cordial, and then we put red cordial.
What has more alcohol content, by the way, the red cordial or the Sub-Zero?
I don't know, but it was quite funny because this is before, this is when Sub-Zero was just one flavor. That's it. That's all you're getting. And anyway, I had a party at my house because my parents were away, so we thought we were cool and got the Sub-Zero. And and then for the we'd cleaned up after the party, and I was like, okay, we've got to make sure that there's 24 lids and 24 bottles so we can get rid of it. And there's one fucking lid missing. And I scoured the whole house. Luckily, I found it just as the parents.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Some people just put them in their pockets.
And here are you going, you don't have any anecdotes today. Yeah. So I thought...
Yeah, I do not have any teen drinking anecdotes because I didn't start drinking until I was 20 because
well done.
I like sweet things. Yep. And then I discovered Midori.
And then life changed. So in terms of those weeks that we said, there are challenges I can go, yep, I love that challenge. In terms of whole weeks, it's a hard one to work out. I mean, I'm going to go with the obvious here. I'm going to go with least favorite week. Look, I don't want to be.
Week.
I don't. Yeah, I see. For me,
well, we've talked about this.
I think, you know what? As much as I've bagged out Free From Week, and I really didn't like it. I'm going to go British Week too.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm going to go British Week is it was so disappointing in comparison to what it could have been.
Yeah.
I thought that they could have done so much with British Week, and it was a filled sponge, a Bakewell slice, and a pudding. And I'm like, there was so much.
What else is in British culture that you could do?
Well, let's see here. You could have done a pasty if you wanted to do something that was a bit warmer. You could have done Yorkshire puds. They could
have done like pork pies or
pork pies.
Yeah. Okay.
And you always said pork pies. You're going, yep, we're in.
Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm up for pork pies.
But this is the thing. There were so many options of British bakes. I mean, look, it's almost like there's a show called The Great British Bake Off. You could have surveyed for damage if you wanted to. And I just thought, like, a filled sponge, like. These guys are beyond filled sponge.
Yeah. And and that was, there were some things I was like, isn't this challenge a bit too easy for like week 8?
And a pudding's not a showstopper. I don't care what you say. It's not a showstopper.
Well,
there's like a big pork pie could have worked for that.
Oh yeah, like when they did the tiered pies.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then Martha did her 3 little peas.
Yep, they could have gone back and done
Noel had his lavender meringue.
Yes.
It was a great week.
Exactly. This is the thing. They could have done all those sorts of things. One of my favourite weeks of British Bake Off is when they go back and do like the old British bakes. I love that week.
Oh yeah, when they do like the medieval.
Yeah, when they go back and do like those really old British bakes.
Ones from Victorian era.
Yeah, I love those. But for me, with the British week,
it's a paleo recipe.
for me, with the British week, the problem was. I thought the bakers had gone past what they were asked to do. It wasn't that they were bad challenges. It's just that these bakers, I think, were probably better than the week suggested, and that was a problem.
And also, like, my other gripe with the show, which is really, like, it's not really that big a gripe, is that I wanted the hot cross bun challenge to be in bread week because I wanted to see more, like, people do that challenge to see what they'd come up with.
Yeah. You know what? Like, projecting forward, some things I'd like to see is like a binging with Babish week where they have to like do bakes from TV and movies. Could you imagine it? Like it.
Then again, I just love binging with Babish. So
exactly. So we could do like the I'm trying to think of something that he actually bakes. Oh, that pizza thing. Remember that?
Il Timpano is the one.
I'm just trying to think of the most impressive food I've seen in pop culture, and
I want to see
can't
someone
think of anything.
I want to see someone do Il Timpano. I think that would be amazing. I mean,
it
granted,
does take
you need
12 hours to cook, doesn't it?
You need a day, but I think that would be incredible.
Fish fingers and custard.
Perfect.
Jelly Dodgers.
That'd be brilliant.
Oh, they could do like treacle tart from Harry Potter. They could do. I'm trying to think of.
There's all sorts of these. But again, a television and movie food week would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then they could just do bread and salt from Game of Thrones, so no one gets killed.
That could be awesome.
Oh, that'd be hilarious! Yeah,
that could be awesome.
Big
and then they get out the swords. That'd be a great gif. Like.
So to go back to it. So, who was your favourite baker this year, and why was it Robert?
Oh. Why was it Robert? It just was. No, he's just, I think he's like the epitome of everything that makes the show great. Like, just sort of willing to engage with everyone, like the people who watch the show and talk to me about RuPaul's Drag Race. But yeah, just genuinely a nice person. And I'm sure that's the same with the rest of them. But the thing is, like, I'm biased because I actually know Robert better than the rest of them. So it's a bit...
See, I disagree because he didn't say enough innuendo, and that's where Chris and Barb come in. Like, they're equal further in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's just.
I mean, best double act, Chris and Bob.
Absolutely, they're like the Apollo and Diana of like the Apollo
done.
and Artemis of the Bake Off shed.
Well done.
Yes.
Nice reference. That's a good reference. We need to tell them that one and just let them run with that.
Yeah.
Chris and Barbara can work out who's who.
I presume because like it's Grizzly Bakes is that he's like a bear and like Artemis is in the woods, so of course Chris is Artemis.
Well, we'll go with that.
And Barb's got blonde hair, which is like the sun.
And now I'm trying to think of like the personalities that they had in the Percy Jackson books. I fucking love those books. They're so good.
It's brilliant.
I think Claudia would be like either Minerva or Psyche because she's a psychologist.
Look at you being all
I know.
all learned. But yeah, it's one of those things, as we said, where
Racer is Iris because she's like the rainbow.
well,
Like, she brings the color.
picking favorites is tough.
Yeah.
And partly because they'll kill me. But you know, if I say one, then the other will try to kill me.
Yeah.
So they're all my favorites. I love them all.
Yeah.
I love them all equally. I mean, there's
Marcus is totes Hermes.
I mean, there's a couple of small bromances there. Hey,
Yeah, Marcus is definitely Hermes.
yeah, a couple of small bromances there. Hey, Robert. Hey, Chris. How you going?
No, but would Claudia be Dionysus because she's a boozy baker?
Booze. That's a good call.
You know, and she did have the Maynards going all crazy around her, like Marcus and stuff. And,
She did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's a good one.
All right, I'm now going to do like the Greek pantheon.
Okay.
The Roman pantheon.
Have we got some fan artists?
Yeah, let's go for it. Get the art out there. Get the art out there, and we can put this clip up with the art that you send in on YouTube, because of course we now have a YouTube channel.
It's like the My Brother and Me animations.
Yes, that'd be perfect. That is perfect. So I think, is there anything that you didn't get to see this year that you'd like to get to see in the next series? That's an interesting one. Is there any challenges, any weeks, any form of baking that you really want to see that you didn't get to see?
I'd really like to see an Asian baking week, like going to
that would be good.
You know, like because they have different types of baked goods that
I
come
would love
through.
to see them make, those Japanese cheesecakes.
Yes,
I would
and then
kill to see them make those.
Then you've got like the Emperor's balls and. Like, I don't know if they're like common, but in Chinatown.
You don't know if the Emperor's balls are common.
You can just line up at a window and get these like hot fried little balls of awesomeness with custard in the middle.
One of my favourite weeks, I think it was in British Bake Off, was when they did like leavened dough and they had donuts as the showstopper. Like
yes,
that.
Oh, that could be really good. Leavened bread would be really good. I think there's. I think they need to take a page out of Chris's book, and they need to have a week which is just big, big bakes.
Massive.
And then the next week they do tiny bakes.
Yes, and then dainty bakes for Emma.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Emma can come back in as like the champion of dainty bakes week.
Yeah. One of the things, like I know it's just that the way the show works, but one of the things I love about MasterChef is how the old contestants come back.
Yes.
If you figure a way to bring that into Bake Off, I would love it.
I would love to see a week where they get 3 bakers back to set the challenges.
What about?
So one of them sets a signature, one of them sets a technical, and one of them sets a showstopper.
What about in the grand final, like they've done in MasterChef in the past, is that you get to pick a team, so you can like choose 2.
We're getting really close to the Bake Off Ashes.
I know of the previous bakers to help you.
Because if they do that, it's my concept.
Wait, I need to catch up on MasterChef.
Yeah, that could
Obviously.
I'm trying to remember when that was, but I think it was a few years ago. But they were able to choose 2.
Yeah, when they did their big service challenge at the end that they did, they got them to pick a couple of them each to work on their service team. So they picked like 3 and 3.
I'd be like, okay, who's been like, where have you been apprenticing or like volunteering?
Yeah, that was Elena's season.
I watched that season. I don't even remember it.
I'm pretty sure it was Elena's season where there was a service challenge and they got to pick 3 bakers each. 3
They're
contestants
bakers
each.
from now on.
3 contestants each.
Yeah,
I think it was one of the seasons. Yeah, they did. They got them back and they picked teams to help with the service challenge. So in other words, it was about running a kitchen as well, not just about making the food, but it was running the kitchen and managing service. So that was I like that idea. But yeah, I think there's a whole range of places. This is the good news about something like Bake Off, which is there is a range of places they can take it.
Yeah.
And like they're not
Savory week.
Oh, again,
savory.
I would love a savory week more than
I'm kind of disappointed. Like, I love pies and tarts week.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't do that this year.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a number of places they can take it. I'm waiting for Colonial Bakes Week, where they get them to do like early Australian. So, in other words, they get to do damper at one point.
I was going to say they just all sit in front of like a fire, a campfire.
But they had to do things like. Also, there were little things like dumplings and stuff like that were made in early colonial times as well.
What about a United States week? Because then they can do things like biscuits and
American week would be interesting.
American week, yeah.
American week.
And that's my other thing about Biscuit Week is it doesn't really matter as much in Australian Bake Off, but like British, like
it's big
hard biscuits. I don't care for them. I want cookies.
Yeah, it's like again, and I mean the biscotti. Yeah, look, I get the idea of biscotti, but if you think about what they did for Biscuit Week,
It's got dried fruit in it.
Yeah, the second it's got dried fruit in it, now we are of one mind here. The second it has dried fruit in it, it dies in a fire. I looked at a lot of those biscotti and went, they're wonderful. Now, if we could just take the fruit out, I'd love it.
You know, it'd rock a Greek week because you've got the Greek biscuits, right? Then you've got like the thing like, is it spanakopita? Like the
spanakopita.
Yeah,
spanakopita. Yeah, that pastry. So they have to make the pastry and
then you do baklava for the showstopper.
Well, remember
so much filo.
I mean, we had a bit of an example of it this year where Alex made sareki.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's options.
Teresa made her like baklava pulla pie as well.
Oh yeah, Middle Eastern Bake Week. That would again. So you could do a global Middle Eastern. Okay, Middle Eastern has to be Middle Eastern.
Round the world. Yeah.
Round the world week. There you go. So they pick a Middle Eastern
that
bake.
Could be like an entire season. You could.
It could be, but you'd sort of
once we start doing themed seasons, it's getting to the network TV.
Exactly, where we're getting into the MasterChef does Battle of the Sexes, and nobody needs that season in their life. Nobody remembers that season. I don't know a single person from that season, so bad luck. Yeah. And if you are from that season and you're listening to us, hi, say hello, tell us who you are.
We're very sorry that you ended up on a TV show on the one season that was bad.
Sorry, it's like to be honest with you, the bakers who ended up on the first Channel 9 series of Bake Off. Sorry, guys.
I wonder if they can come back though and do the normal Bake Off.
That could be interesting.
Yeah,
that could be. That
didn't count. Come on, the normal one.
Now,
the real one.
Now, is there any of the bakes that they attempted that you look at and go, I'd really like to try that at some point?
As in, try making it or try eating it?
Making it, not eating it, because eating it's a yes to a lot of things.
Barb's waffles.
Yeah, Barb's waffles.
Waffles.
I mean, spoiler alert for the channel, for the YouTube channel. At some point, I'm going to try to make one thing from every week.
Good.
So this is going to go very badly. Prepare for that.
And then you will be thanking the Lord for Batter Week. As much as you complained when you watched it, you're like, oh, this is much easier. Except,
and I'm going to give everyone a heads up as to what we're going to do. So in the next few weeks, I'm going to put up a poll on all the forms of social media.
God.
And every week, I'm going to put forward the signature, the technical, and the showstopper.
Make him do the crepe cake.
Yeah, this is what I'm worried about because I'm committing to it. I am committing to the idea. And I know that with Batter Week, I would desperately love to make the waffles.
No.
And I know that everyone is going to vote for crepe cake to make me make over 50
I'm going to make a few Twitter accounts.
So
crepe cake lover 99.
It's just like a friend of mine who is German and her name is Claude and she loves baking. Mm-hmm. And when I told her that there was a German woman called Claudia on Bake Off, she lost it. She was like, "Where can I watch this show?" But yeah, she a friend of hers went and did the world's greatest shave, and then afterwards they went out to get crepe cake, and she had a matcha flavored one. I was like, oh, it's everything Chris hates.
God. Oh God. I mean, it's the only thing. On one hand, I'm really excited just to show people how hard these challenges are. On the other hand, I'm absolutely terrified about the fact that I'm probably going to have to make a crepe cake. And
I'm not. I like crepes.
that's going to go badly.
I really like.
Oh yeah, Kristie's going to have a great time.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
she's going to have great fun because she gets to just, benefit from what I'm making if it's good. If it's good. So keep
Maybe
your
I'll
eyes
have
open.
to like fly up to Sydney.
I think you do, and I think you need to get
when
involved.
he does the rum barbers.
Yeah, when we do the
Yeah.
rum barbers, because I'm pretty sure that that's probably going to be what wins that week because people are
Cake,
going
cake
to
lover 99 will vote for rum
It
barbers.
becomes rum barber lover 64.
And then we can go and see if we can find a kilo burrito.
With luchador masks.
Yes.
So overall, I mean, again, the general nature of the chat should indicate to everyone it's a bloody good season. and also your gifts. Now, did you have a favourite gift? Because we've got to finish up with the gifts. So,
Ooh. I mean, the one I wish I'd made was the one that won the Virgie.
yeah.
It was just,
Well, look, that was just fantastic.
oh, it's amazing. I was like, I just love, like, my favorite, like, and we're not talking about the gift at the moment. It was just when, what's her name? Like, obviously, like, Barb, this had happened to her before.
Yeah.
Like, someone was like, oh, no, not again. Like, what was going on with Barb and the mixer? I want to see that show.
I can't. I don't know. Yeah.
Gravity
again.
was just having issues in that particular area.
And the general reaction was just like, oh. No panic.
Here we go again.
Just, oh, right. Okay. Oh, look, it's still
Oh.
mixing.
That was the other thing about the finale. Like, when the chest broke, like, that was a really dramatic moment that, like, you hope doesn't happen, but it was great television.
And as we sort of said on the podcast as well, and we said to Claudia on the episode the other day when we spoke to her, the television didn't do that justice. There was a hush that went over the whole of the grounds. And you heard, and again, because we were sitting with last series bakers, so like they were all sitting there watching, and there was just this hush followed by everyone going, oh my God, one of the bakes just collapsed. And you could just, this pall went across the shed, followed by this cheering of everyone trying to wheel her home.
Yeah.
Like the TV showed it, and there was a lot of drama, but it didn't do it justice.
Dude, I would have lost it.
How the hell she managed to get back on that and get back to doing it was
I have very little chill. Like, at the
incredible.
best of times.
Well, you know what you need. You just need Dave at the bench next to you.
Yeah, apparently.
I understand. Like, I'm starting to understand the whole psychology of having to get back up and do something baking again. Because, like, the other night, okay, so on the weekend, on the Easter long weekend, I decided I was going to bake. Unfortunately, I had a fucking, like, what's it called? Fatigue episode, so I just couldn't do it. And Robert had actually been very kind and given me a chocolate cake recipe to try. So I had some ingredients in the cupboard, and then I got this craving the other night for chocolate chip cookies. And I'm like, oh, I could make those. Got some chopped chips in the fridge, blah, blah, blah. So I've gone to make it, and like I was having to scroll up and down on my phone for this shitty recipe online, and may have missed the part of putting vanilla essence or like vanilla extract into the bake. And I'm like, that's it, I couldn't be bothered. And Chris was like, oh, all right, I'll knead this into the dough, because the dough was already done, ready to...
Like, it doesn't really, like, need vanilla essence.
Well, this one did
Been
because
fine.
this one did because it was a recipe that didn't contain brown sugar for cooking.
Yeah, because I realised I didn't have that.
So you
in there.
needed to have the vanilla essence to balance it all out.
But I've learnt, and I am not making cookies that don't have brown sugar, because that's apparently what I was craving, was brown sugar that night. So...
But apparently the Office promotes cookies. So who knew? Who knew?
Yeah.
Because we were watching The Office and it was, oh, I felt like making cookies. And it did come out of left field just like that.
He goes, I'll go up the shop and buy some. I'm like, no, I'm going to bake them. So I did.
It was fun.
Yes, it was.
It was enjoyable. And you got to use the KitchenAid. So
And they came out looking like cow pats.
delicious cow pats.
Delicious,
they weren't bad.
delicious cow pats.
They weren't bad.
No.
They just weren't what you were expecting.
No, I'll keep.
I'll send you a recipe.
So
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Leah.
Yeah.
this whole podcast is simply a ruse for Kristie to get recipes off people.
I'm not gonna,
It's like my parents like that cookie recipe that you have. I was like, it's from the internet. Like, it's not that difficult to find. But
it's not that difficult. So
No.
anyway, this has been a fantastic chat. Thank you again for joining us.
no, thank you for having me.
We look forward to having you on again in the future.
Yeah.
Quite often, hopefully. And obviously we're all looking forward to the next series. So if we can just hurry up and do that, that would be great.
Now you just need to like escape your wedding and see if you can like scout if anything's going on.
It's only one bay over. So
you just see these two randoms in the background popping up.
And it's just like, we've got a runaway bride. No. Watch Bake Off.
Bridal, bride and groom.
Okay, so there are people like walking their dogs. Like, how close are they to the shed? And like, do they stop to watch what's going on?
Yeah, well, there's a public path that runs right past it. So
okay,
we just go get some.
We
photos.
just casually walk past.
We don't have a photographer for the wedding,
so we just casually walk past and take our own selfies.
Yeah.
So we can't say too much more. We might flag it.
Yeah.
So thanks, Leah, again as always.
Yep. No, thank you.
And again, up until next time, I'm still Chris.
I'm still Kristie.
We will catch you all later.